Hello and welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today's video is not a review, it's not so much an explained video, but more a discussion based video. I want to talk about Mother from Raised by Wolves. There it is, there she is. And I want to talk about exactly why she was sent to Kepler-22b, because there seems to be some inconsistencies. And I know, wait. I know a lot of people are going to sit there and say, yes, well, that's going to be something which we discover moving forward in the next coming weeks and so on and so forth. But as the story has presented itself thus far, it's left it wide open to theorize. And that's what I like about some of these shows. Yes, there may be some inconsistencies and some plot holes and things like this. But I like that because it allows us to really get into the nitty-gritty of it and discuss exactly, theorize why, like what could this possibly be? Now, the show has presented a few things up until episode 5 that, well, one, Mother is a necromancer, a droid or an android created by the people of Sol. Okay, now she, well, as per episode 4 or 5, I believe it was, she was captured by Campion, who is a dissident faction away from the people of Sol, and he's not even so much actually a member of the atheist faction either. He seems to be acting independently of either side. Now, she was captured by Campion, and he set about a process of reworking her, rewiring her up to enable her to be essentially a carrier for the embryos that was going to be sent along with her and father on the ship, the Last Hope for Humanity. Now, in that episode, there was no specific explanation as to why she was sent, because you have to wonder, right? There's a lot of work involved in creating capturing a necromancer, because obviously there is a huge risk involved, being the fact that we have seen she is just able to screech and people explode. That's insane. So is the risk outweighing the worth ratio there? Could Campion not have reworked father to be a form of a carrier to bring the embryos to term? Probably, if he was able to rework a necromancer. Now, you might ask yourself, well, he did that because obviously she's a necromancer. She can protect them. Yes, perhaps. But he purposely ended up wiping her memory. So there seems to be some wild inconsistencies here. Now, as it's been presented to us, Campion wiped her memory, right? Wiped Lamia, I think it was, or Mother's memory. Wiped it clean. Not only of him, so to remove Campion from the equation, but also the sort of the necromancer ways and things like this. So if she was sent as a means to protect the family, along with father, and father's sort of methodology is education, I guess, if you're thinking about how, what sort of purpose they serve as a duo, it does seem very, very strange that she would be sent. Now, my thinking is, my wild theory here is that we're going to realise that actually, oh no, this is going to be a shock horror moment, that there's more to Mother than meets the eye. Because there's a few things here which, in my head, don't make a lot of sense, right? You have Mother, a necromancer who could just blast people into oblivion, into powdered dust, just by screeching. Captured by Campion and reworked and rewired. Now, in this universe, obviously it's not been explicitly stated that only these female androids can bring embryos to term, but if that is the case, that seems a little bit of an oversight in terms of the, well, it's a plot hole, isn't it? Let's be honest. You can create an android which can, you know, fly about in the Jesus Christ pose, blowing people up and putting people to sleep, but you can't rework a male android into being able to bring embryos to term. That seems like a massive plot hole. So logic would dictate there's a lot more to Mother's story than meets the eye in terms of it being intertwined with Campion. Now, in the latest episode, episode 5, we learnt that actually there is another human on the planet. And if we're looking at the Atheists and Soul, the two factions, and you have Campion as a splinter faction of, I mean, he's neither associated to either of those groups, actually. He was operating independently of the Atheists. It would seem to me that Mother's role is a little bit deeper, as is Campion's. Not Campion the boys, but man Campion's. It would seem that their roles are going to be intertwined a little bit deeper. And I would say that there is either another faction on the planet already, i.e. the man probably being Campion, which I may do another theory video or discussion video in the future on. Or there's something associated with Mother and her as an android, potentially, and this is going off into a weirder, wilder theory here, that maybe these necromancers, and bear with me, are not actually anything to do with the people of Soul. Because, I hear you ask, I know this is going to come as a bigger shock now, but why didn't the people of Soul have a necromancer with them? They had guns. They had other androids. Why wouldn't you bring a necromancer? Why wouldn't you bring a necromancer with you to a weird alien planet that you don't know what's on? Why wouldn't you bring one? And they both factions are pretty terrified of this thing, and the technology seems wildly far and above what they all seem capable of at this point in time, doesn't it? So I then think to myself, well, maybe, just maybe, Mother as an android is actually nothing associated with either of them. Because she seems to be able to just change her mass at will, change her physical form, her structure at will. She's able to become a bronze goddess that is impenetrable by weapons, by bullets. And the people of Soul didn't have one. You'd think, I mean, that's a massive oversight. You would definitely think we're going to take a necromancer with us to a strange alien planet if we created them. And the Atheists definitely didn't create him because she was blowing them up. So maybe, because again, on this planet, Kepler-22b, we're now seeing strange technologies and things that are there. You know, that cuboid thing that's talking to people. The weird apparitions. Maybe, just maybe, there is a higher being or a higher power, i.e. who the people of Soul worship. Maybe it's their mistake, maybe it's not a god, but maybe it's an alien race or another faction of humanity of some shape or another. I don't know. I just think to myself, why was Mother sent? She seems... It's a wild inconsistency, the risk versus reward ratio. Capturing a necromancer that could just utterly obliterate you in a second seems a massive risk versus the potential reward when you could have simply just reworked a father android into bringing embryos to term. And if it's because she's a protector and you've reworked her to being a protector, then why would you wipe her memory? That seems like a huge oversight because, of course, how's she going to protect if she doesn't have a good memory? If she doesn't remember what she is and it takes a while for her memory banks to rework. I mean, in those years, because it was literally years, in those years that have passed, all the children could have been killed. And in fact, a lot of them were. So you then think to yourself, well, that's a massive oversight. So there you go, there's my review, discussion, theory, whatever, video on Mother and why she was sent. What is the purpose of her? So I hand it on over to you. This isn't me bashing the show, FYI. This is just, I really like to get into these discussion videos when it comes to these series that leave things unexplained. I think there's a lot. There's a lot to be said about that. I like it. It's good fun. So let me know your thoughts. Did you even think about any of the things that I've mentioned, or did you just kind of gloss over it and say, oh, well, you know, sci-fi, whatever, I'm just going to crack on? Because I know a lot of people do that, but again, I like to sort of explore these things. So let me know down below in the comment section. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Give this video a big thumbs up and a share. But thank you all so much. I've been Mr. H. Take care.